And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the PiGosaur Cup number 39. Welcome back to the quarterfinals, as we have been following GuMiho throughout the course of the initial previous series. Now into the quarterfinals, we have a TVP. Let's go. With spawning in the bottom right corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing SA2L Esports. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing himself, currently teamless. It is Astrea. Not on formless bear slots, my apologies. I will get on that. But here we go, we're jumping into our fresh best of 3, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our TVP, and this is going to be a rematch. Astrea, he has been on a tear as of late. His TVP has been insane, especially his late game, Terran versus Protoss. He took down Ryung, he took down GuMiho, he took down Clem as well. He has taken down some big Terran names here over the past couple of weeks, specifically showcasing his more defensive play and his late game as well. And what I will say about Astrea's late game TVP is maps play a big part. If we get there, they play a very big part when it comes to which bases are exposed, which bases you can punish, which bases you can deny, and which bases you can establish early on as well. I will say that ley lines is going to be favoring Astrea if he can get to that point. If he can end up with a max out army, if he can cut the map in half, it can be very difficult for the Terran player to maintain certain bases. I'm referring to the fringe bases. I'm also referring to the center expansion as well. We'll get there, of course. We'll get there. But again, if you haven't seen Astrea over the past month, maybe 2 months at this point, his play has been... it's been disgusting. Of course, Astrea, he did spend the beginning of the year at the Shopify HQ. He was, of course, practicing and training with Lambert, with Harsam, with Björn, with the other Shopify players as well, with Scarlet, I believe. And of course, did improve in that time. And it's been quite an interesting development here from Astrea. Now, what I will say is that, again, this was over the past couple of weeks. We'll see if he is able to showcase that here again. We'll see if GuMiho has a bit of response. I will say that Clem was looking the most impressive against Astrea. Clem, he did have a very nuke-heavy style that was very effective against Astrea. So I will say that there's a lot of potential there, and there's maybe some avenues that have yet to be explored by the rest of the Terran scene and the Terran community. So Clem, he was able to kind of pioneer that and show that off in the late game. It was really impressive to see. But again, this is still a really brutal map for that. For now, Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener out of Astrea. Does open Twilight Council. Astrea does poke in. So far, he does bypass the main army. Marines, they race across the map. SCV's going to be going down. Not bad. He gets one. He gets, two. Two SCV's going to be falling. There's a recall back home just in time. Marines, they have arrived, but there are Stalkers. There are now Stalkers standing in his way. And Astrea, he will hold on. He's walling up. Blink is on the way. And GuMiho pulls back. So far, a better start here for Astrea. GuMiho rotating towards the right-hand side. Stalkers not quite in position. Okay, there's an opening. There's an opening here. There was, but Astrea, he's ready to wall up. Oh, it does wall off. It does wall off in time. Stalkers, they zone away the Hellions. Nice defense here from Astrea. GuMiho ready for the drop. Again, GuMiho is not done. Not yet. Pushing towards the right-hand side. So Wood Mines towards the right. So we have Hellions here in the center. Drop does come in. And Astrea, he does notice. Does pull away. Thankfully, does pull away in time. Dropping towards the main. Astrea, he will deflect. And he will shut this down. Ooh, oh my god. Yeah, shuts down the medevac. The mine shot does go off. Does catch a Stalker. Not bad. Gets a Stalker. From here, Astrea, he does break out. Behind this, going for the Bay. Interesting. So it's going to be 3-gate blink into a third base, into a Bay, into Colossus production, not rushing into Storm. So we're not rushing towards Storm, going for Colossus instead. Likewise, back at home, GuMiho also building up. Stim has begun. He has built up an early tank out. He can try to go for an earlier push. Oh. He can go for a Beyond move out. As Hellions, they slip on by. 2 Hellions, they can 2-shot probes. First volley goes up, gets 1 probe so far, gets up to 4. Yeah, they're lining up, they are lining up. 5 worker kills, 6 probes towards the end. Very nice damage here by GuMiho. Very nice. Did I say 6 getting up to 9? Oh my god, no reaction. Yeah, late reaction here by Astrea. 10 probes going down. Brutal losses. And despite the early game aggression being shut down, GuMiho, he bounces back from that. Does make up for it. 10 probe kills. Here comes the initial move out. As we did mention, Stim is not yet done. These are vanilla Marines. But Stim will finish up by the time the army gets across the map. Again, very committed here from GuMiho. More probes going down. Once again, Astrea is distracted. Another 4 probes. This is getting out of hand. That's going to be 16 probe kills. Insane damage. Astrea trying to be proactive. Catching out a lot of Marines. Nice force field. Very nice. Blinks on forward. Takes down one of the tanks. Again, Astrea controlling his army well. It's just the harass, right? The harassment has been just tearing him apart. Colossus moves in. Observer does get eyes on the main army. He does see the tank is sieged. Astrea, he does spot this. Going for the Zealot run by. Again, Astrea, he's behind. The pressure is on. He may even force a cancel. Oh, I mean, that would be the ideal. He will delay. If he can force a cancel, then he can recover in this game. As more probes are going down, 3 more workers. GuMiho does respond. Yeah, CC will be saved. Catching up the Zealots. Now he's moving in. Astrea, he does not have high ground vision. It's going to be 20 worker kills in total already. Astrea does spot the tanks. He's aware. Behind is coming a 4th base. Astrea trying to recover. Again, he should not be pushing up this ramp. But if the army unsieges, Astrea can respond. Ooh, as he does spot the move out. Scan. Nicely done. Likewise, sniping a sentry as well. Astrea pulling away. Again, Astrea just trying to buy some time. Here comes the unsiege. GuMiho, he rotates, he gets spotted. Astrea racing back home. Let's head towards the 4th. Not going to be an easy hold. It's not going to be easy here. Nice force fields. Catching out a couple of Marauders. 2, 3 Marauders going down. Tanks are moving in. Astrea, he has to respect it. He has to back off. Does cap back in. The force fields do buy some time. At the same time, Zealot run by across the map. Getting 5 SCVs, not bad. Destructor has arrived as well. And show us that Nova. Nova goes up. Gets a couple of Marines. Nothing major yet. Raven moving back in. Does force some defensive warp in. Oh! As Raven does barely get away. Or at least attempts to. Nice interception. Finally takes down the Raven, but the damage has been done. Again, 20 worker kills, as we mentioned earlier. But Astrea holds. Astrea, he defends. He saves his 4th base, now taking a 5th base as well. Astrea, he hasn't recovered yet, but he's on the road to recovery. He's looking to stabilize. But again, the economy is what's killing him here. He's just now saturating his own 4th. Likewise, because of late 4th base, that means late 2nd rover, that means late Destructor production. So everything is delayed here for Astrea. And GuMiho does have momentum. Astrea breaks out. Does break out. Once again, I don't really see Astrea pushing up this ramp into these tanks. But ideally, he wants to try to catch out the army. And he has some good vision. Spotted pylons, observers, and zealots as well. Speaking of, one of the observers does get caught. More Vikings are amassing. Astrea still needs a little bit more time for the second robo. It's just not finishing. Building up more disruptors. And again, Astrea's goal here is to slow the game down. That's where he thrives. It's not to try to end the game. It's not to try to break the expansion. Slow the game down, max out, and start to embrace Sky Toss. Now going for the gateway explosion. Yo, I see Esther007 in the chat. Gah, baby, yeah. Good to see you. Esther007. Straight, he rotates. Getting ready for a zealot run by him. Oh. Nice catch. Zealots do join with the main army. Both armies are maxed out. Now would be the time for Astrea to tech and start working towards a fleet beacon, Stargate, and Skytoss upgrades. They're now going for the Temple Archives, working towards Storm. Okay. At least is teching. Taking up, likewise diving on the main army. Vikings are they go to town. Yeah, Colossus is going to be falling. Zealot's coming from behind, and the Novas, they will kill. Oh my god. Brutal connections. And Astrea, he breaks through. Insane connections there with the disruptor. Reinforcements have arrived. A planetary is done. Astrea, he has to back off. He has to get the hell out of here. It was a good fight, but not enough to break through. Not enough to break the fourth. Again, he had a crazy surround. He had a nice Nova. But the disruptor count, sorry, the Colossus count was reset. So rebuilding his Colossus. Taking another expansion. Likewise, GuMiho taking up. +1 ship weapons on the way. Fusion Core did just finish, working towards Liberators. It's getting to those Liberators. Astrea setting up. Oh, doesn't quite connect. Zealots moving from behind, but again, there was only one disruptor. Yeah, a little bit wasteful here from Astrea, throwing away so many Zealots. That's 21, geez. 21 Zealots for 3 Marines. That was not quite worth it. Astrea, he pulls away. Catching out some army. Never goes off. Very nice connection. Catching out a good chunk of Marauders. Astrea, he makes up for the earlier fight. Third Robo's on the way. Again, sticking still very much ground heavy. Zealots, they do slip by. Getting into the bases. Likewise pushing forward, but alas, the planetary does stand strong. There's not enough here. And Zealots, they do get into the mineral line, not bad. SCVs are going down. Does catch a couple of SCVs, does spot the Mass Liberator. Astrea getting 15 SCV kills. And he's going for the expansion. Ooh. We had some okay splits. Novas are still connecting. Astrea, he backs off. We have 12 High Templar morphing in. Storm is not done. We're going actually into Mass Archon. Okay. I mean, there are no ghosts, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm sorry, there are 4. Okay. There are some EMPs. Couple of ghosts are available. Now that we're reaching this level of Liberator counts, we should be, I mean, I was critical earlier about taking up into Skytoss, and we still don't quite see a Fleet Beacon or a Stargate. Double Prism into the main. Nova's a crazy army. No major connections yet. As Astrea does cause a distraction. Double Prism does get in. Astrea, he's maxed. he cannot warp. He has to trade. Very nice connection. Able to afford a couple of extra warp ins. Yeah, 6 in total, nothing major. Another Nova going up. But yeah, just a bit of an awkward drop here just because he didn't have the supply to warp in. He had the money, he had the warp ins, but no free supply. This is pushing through. Takes on Liberator. Storm is being researched. Astrea still sticking here to his ground army. Rotating over. Keeping up with GuMiho. And GuMiho, he's in danger here. He's going to lose everything. Yeah, there's no escaping this. The Medivacs, they go down. The Vikings as well. GuMiho coming in from behind. Who catches who? As how those Novas. They're going to be going up. Brutal connections. And Novas do connect, but where the Zealots though? Yeah, not enough charge lots. Yeah, back and forth fight. But Astrea has the economy. Astrea, he has all these bases. He has a bank to work with, or at least somewhat of a bank. Did lose all the disruptors though. The robot army was reset. But now here we go. 3 Colossus at a time. Storm is now done. And we do have High Templar. Now, because of how Marauder heavy this is, Storm isn't going to be as effective, but it's going to help nonetheless. Yeah, diving the army. Here comes the Storm. And then we're going for feedbacks instead. And the Planetary goes down. GuMiho just pulling, sorry, Astrea just pulling GuMiho apart. Takes down the expansion. GuMiho moving in. There should be a recall. Does go for the EMPs though. Does EMP Astrea, what's the plan? Where are we headed? GuMiho, he gets 1, he's getting 2 bases. Astrea trying to respond. Just right 2, gets an okay Storm off. Does force a pickup. Astrea moving in, but their Liberators backing him to defend. Oof. High Templar goes down. GuMiho holds. He does hold on. Astrea just unable to push in. He lost 2 bases. He's triple expanding. I mean, this is still anyone's game. GuMiho does have a super maxed army. And once again, Astrea is just completely out of position here. He misses the rotation. We'll lose another expansion. So the run by won't do much. Astrea pushing up a ramp into the army. And the concave is brutal. And GuMiho is getting out of hand here. He's going for more bases. Getting another expansion, getting us all the robos. Storms, they are somewhat connecting. We got some decent storms to the right hand side. Zelda run by doesn't achieve much. GuMiho stimming in and going for another base. Getting another robo. That's what the 3rd robo going down. And again, this push just has gone so out of hand here. Astrea, he can't engage. Oh no, Colossus! They do stand strong. They're okay. Does survive, but GuMiho is just rallying out towards another base, another expansion. More planetaries, sorry, more nexus is going to be falling. More bases going down. Does try to recall. And does barely recall in time. Okay. Does recall, drop now moving back in. Astrea down to 31 probes. Again, barely an economy. I can say the same for GuMiho. True. Neither player really has an ideal economy or ideal setup. Astrea catching reinforcements. Storm's coming in. Oh my god, speaking of. Yeah, gets a full medevac. GG gets called. GuMiho, he runs out of steam. No bases, no army, and GuMiho, he taps out. Astrea, he does take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. A very intense game here. Again, GuMiho with his final push, of course, he was able to overwhelm. He took down base after base after base. Took down, what was it, 4 or 5 next side? It was crazy just how many bases he was able to snipe. But at the same time, he was also all in himself, right? He only had 41 SCVs. He only really had 1.5 base mining towards the end. Not quite enough here to maintain himself. He bled out a lot of units, and in the end, GuMiho, he was broken. GG. GG, well played, Astrea. He persevered, and Astrea takes a lead. And here we go. We're now getting into our next game. Going to be loading into Persephone. Let's go. Let us go. Show me the game 2, just catching up with the chat. Astrea showed on the medevac pool of Marauders. He did. He did. We did point that out. As we're getting into game number 2. Whew, and again, a very intense back and forth here. Astrea not going for his typical, more like turtley style. I mean, we saw GuMiho being very aggressive and very assertive. I'm pretty sure a big part of this is because, again, GuMiho did lose during the EWC global qualifiers to Astrea with that more slower, methodical approach. So this time we see GuMiho switching up gears here, being hyper aggressive, but for the most part, Astrea was able to keep up. I say for the most part, winding it back. Remember, the game started with GuMiho killing 20 probes. Like, GuMiho, he was pulling Astrea apart, dealing critical damage with the Raven harass, with the drop play as well. It was incredible damage there from GuMiho, but Astrea, he recovered. He was able to slow the game down, able to gain map control, contain his opponent, take some better fights. The Novas were crazy, especially in the mid game, and Astrea, he got back into it. Impressive play there. But now we're getting to game number 2 and spawning in the top left hand corner of Persephone. We have the American Protoss player, we have the blue Protoss. It's all leading the series 1-0. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, we have the red Terran representing SHUL Esports. It is GuMiho. Here we go. As we are loading into Persephone, Persephone is, I would say, one of the smaller maps in the map pool, but also very much so prone to cutting the map in half and getting into a longer and later game. Unlike some of these other maps, I would say that it's more difficult to take the fringe bases away from your opponent just because they're so isolated and they're so close to the other bases here of your opponent, I should say. Likewise, we have this massive area in between all these bases as well, so it is very often that we do see, if the game goes on long enough, we see a split map scenario here where players are typically fighting for the gold more than anything, for that gold expansion. For now though, Rax expands, we do have a economic opener out of GuMiho, likewise gate expand out of Astrea. Here we go. So here we are going to be settling in. As for now, it does get into the mineral line. We'll dip in for the scout, and we do have a much more unique opener here out of Astrea. What do we see? Robo. Robo Opener instead of Twilight Council or Stargate. Not unheard of, but a bit of a rarer sight. I would say that Robo Openers are typically a little bit of a safer way to play, but that's a massive gateway explosion early on. We have 3 gates alongside this. Astrea, he has the option to open up Prism, to rush across the map early, and to be hyper aggressive to punish the greed of GuMiho. GuMiho, he has seen not much. He saw 1 gate. He saw 1 gateway. He failed to see the tech of choice, and Astrea doing a great job at just zoning away the Reaper and denying vision and denying scouting. This is scary. This is a scary moment for GuMiho. As Astrea, he will soon push. There it is. Yep, Prism first. He's rushing across the map. So early game aggression here from Astrea. And GuMiho has no idea. He has no idea what's coming his way. Not yet. Now, he does keep the Reaper alive. True. This is important. If the Reaper had been sniped, that would have been brutal. But it does stay alive. So he's once again rotating. And Astrea is still searching for the Reaper. You can see he's patrolling. And Astrea, he barely does miss the Reaper. Reaper does try to slip in. It's spotted. Yeah, Reaper does get spotted. Prism moves out. Reaper is zoned away. And GuMiho, he doesn't see the Prism. He doesn't see the base. He doesn't see the gateways. Back at home, there's 1 mine to defend. We can see that GuMiho is about to go for his own mine drop as well, which means he has that much less to hold on. He has that much less back at home. And Astrea is going for the kill. He's going for the kill. Oh boy, the mine drop can get some counter damage, but not much. Just gonna be 1 shot. Speaking of, ooh, nice control, saves the Stalker. Very nice force field. He locks down the SCVs, and there's no way out of this. Yeah, the SCVs are all gonna go down. This is already critical damage. SCVs are falling. A mine drop into the main. Up! Ooh, getting 1 probe, just the 1. Yeah, 1 probe goes down. A Reaper into the natural mineral line, getting more probes. But he could even just kill the CC. Oh god, that's gonna be a kill. CC goes down, a brutal damage. And GuMiho is stuck on 1 base. He's stuck on a 1 base economy. Another force field. Marines are trickling out. Oh. Astrea has to get out of here. He has to get out. As he spots the army. Picks off a Marine. Stim is almost done. And Astrea, he has to pull away. Picks off a couple of SCVs. Back at home, Astrea, he's supply blocked. Uh-oh, he's panicking a little bit here. Making some mistakes. Again, Astrea, he has a lead. He's forcing the all-in. But can he survive? Up! That's 1 Stalker goes down. Does catch a Stalker. Astrea racing back home. Does race back. Remember, there's no base. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing here. A couple of voids are being pulled. It's all or nothing out of GuMiho. Shield batteries are on the way. There's no charge. There's no Twilight Council, of course. Yeah, there's no council. GuMiho, we can still end the game with this. But again, it's all or nothing. It's here and now. Coming in. Yeah, the army is spotted. Astrea trying to engage. Does pick up a good amount of Marines. They try to stim, but yeah, the Marines are falling. Astrea, he holds. He holds the shield batteries. They come into play. And Astrea, he will completely shut this down. Completely. Ay. And I'll be honest, I was getting ready for a long game, by the way. I was getting ready to get strapped in. But no shot. Not here. Not this time. And again, we had Astrea being the aggressor instead. And again, even though he was unable to snipe the Reaper, he did deny vision. He denied vision, denied scouting. GuMiho, he had no idea what was going on. Here we go. All the boys are being pulled. Again, it's all or nothing. There's no way to macro out of this. Not anymore. 1 Hail Mary play. Oh. Catching out a Stalker. The boys have arrived. Remember, there's no blink. There's no shield battery. But there is War Prism Micro. Despite that, that's still 4 tanks. Yeah, the tank count is high. Nice spread here from Astrea. The boys are being pulled. They're diving on top of the tanks. And he does focus them down. Getting 1, 2 tanks already. Get the 3rd tank and the 4th. And with that, yeah, there's nothing left. So with that, Astrea, he has done it. He shuts down the entire army. Shuts down the economy as well. GG gets called. And Astrea, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, Astrea. He does it again. Again, he was able to bring down GuMiho during the EWC qualifiers, and he takes him down here as well during the PiGosaur Cup weekly as well. I will say this was a very different series. Again, we saw a much more aggressive style out of GuMiho in game 1, and to kind of counterbalance that, we had a much more aggressive style out of Astrea in game 2. Like a very aggressive style going for the Robo into Prism with a 3-gate setup, just hyper aggression out of Astrea, snowballed out of control. Again, he went completely unscouted, and GuMiho couldn't stop him, could not keep up. Was cool with his pants down. The pants were down, baby, the pants were down. GG, well played. And with that, congratulations here to Astrea, and let's see if he has an opponent. Let's go. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves.